So lots of franchises. I could spend the next, well, we said 733,000, right? There could be 733,000 brands on this. Lots of amazing food concepts that you guys all know and love. Lots of great fitness concepts, some of which I probably should spend more time at. Tech, convenience. There are many, many categories. If there's a category of doing business, there's a franchise for it, from cleaning and services and janitorial and taxes and everything in between. Where we find opportunity is in the cannabis side. There's only one. It's Unity Road. And so as the pioneer franchise here, let's talk about everything that we just talked about. How does it apply to Unity Road and combining the franchise and the cannabis markets for the first time? So it still gives you that same support of local owners. One of the things that's really important in cannabis is keeping the money local. And Unity Road allows franchisors to set up systems and processes to do just that. There are some huge companies out there, multi-state organizations, and yes, we are a multi-state organization. Somehow with franchising, we've managed to become the anti-MSO. That makes sense. And it's really just about you. It's about the franchisee and keeping that money local, keeping that money in your neighborhoods, but still empowering folks with that expertise, which we'll talk about here in a second, so that you can avoid, boy, mistakes here can be catastrophic. If you're out of compliance or even getting through the navigation of the complicated licensing process. And so again, we talk about speed, we talk about economies of scale, and we talk about that roadmap to help you navigate the complications. Really quickly, $41 billion in the next 4 years. The franchise opportunity is about you getting your slice of that pie. So what does it mean that we combine the best of both of these worlds? Because frankly, there are some cannabis concepts now that are starting to throw around the F word. That's franchising. Relax. So there's some cannabis folks that say we franchise. You go, okay, well, tell me about your systems, tell me about your processes, tell me about your disclosure documents. Well, we don't really have that yet, but it sounds like a sexy thing to do. And there's some franchise people that are talking about cannabis. Well, tell me about your cannabis experience, because I tell you, I've been in franchising a long time. Cannabis is unlike anything any of us has ever seen. It's a really complicated thing to do as a franchisor. Just the batting of heads of the federal regulations of franchising and the federal illegality of cannabis is a really complicated thing to be able to maneuver. And so putting together the best of both worlds is really, really important. So on the cannabis side, over 120 years of combined experience, lots and lots of awards for products and stores, multi-unit operation across multiple states, which includes winning licenses and operational experience. And this bottom one is really important, and something that, coming from franchising, I wasn't super familiar with: compliance. The ability to navigate the ever-changing complications of compliance in this industry are unlike anything I or most of us have seen. And so being able to have that cannabis backing, and then you combine that with over 50 years of collective franchise experience, working with hundreds, if not thousands, of franchisees in many countries across many concepts, allows us to really have the best of both of those worlds and take all of that 120 years of combined experience in cannabis and systematize it in a franchise that allows you to enter a market that many are having a hard time even entering. So what do we offer? Gives you that purchasing power. Well, there's no crossing of state lines. So we're talking about purchasing power by supply chain management within each state boundaries. And that's a really complicated and important thing to fully understand. Having those proven processes of operating compliantly and profitably over many states, over many years, with a focus on balancing profitability and, again, compliance, which is really, really important. Some of the horror stories you hear, they all come back to compliance. It allows you to still have some of the benefits of just a quote unquote normal franchise: performance tracking, financial blueprints, marketing support that goes on and on and on in an industry that's really, really complicated and ranges in states from adopt a highway to big billboards and taxis for any of you who like to go out and play in Vegas, as well as employee training and customer experience that allows you to, again, be a part of your local neighborhood, keep that money local, keep that community feel where people do understand this is part of a bigger concept for consistency. But what does it mean locally? What is a franchisee able to do? And with the dollars and cents that make the business up in this market, your ability to do community outreach and really do some good in your neighborhood is unlike anything we've seen in franchising. A couple complications here, and I want to get to Q&A here shortly, but you can't do this everywhere. And if you live in one of the states that's light blue, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It just doesn't exist. In medical use, we're starting to get really some stair-step approach to getting into this, and that's okay. This last year and a half has obliterated state budgets and really changed the mentality of a lot of people at the state level, saying, hey, where we've deemed illegal, other states have deemed essential and are enjoying record tax revenues and really helping the state come back from the pandemic. And so you're seeing more and more states come on board and much, much quicker. There are many states that you can come to. If you live in a state where there isn't or there's limited ability, you can come to states like Colorado, you can come to states like Massachusetts and others coming on board where there are opportunities for a very passive ownership or even an acquisition of an existing dispensary to convert to a Unity Road. So opportunities state by state. And if you don't know, call us and ask, and we can talk about where the opportunities are. Ultimately, this is what we do. Yes, we are a cannabis dispensary franchise. And so we want to help folks be compliant and profitable. We want to help folks navigate those entry complications that are really tougher here than in any other industry, really in franchising. But in the end, once you have a license and once you have a store, this is a retail franchise concept. The business is cannabis, which makes it complicated, but this is a retail franchise concept. And we're developing units with lots of folks in lots of different states, and we're really excited to be able to offer the potential to build generational wealth. Look it up in your state or in other states or average stores. We talked about what's happening in the industry as a whole, but the ability to build generational wealth, the ability to build a store or several stores that will create money that your grandkids will be talking about in an industry that is brand new. This isn't a new spin on a different business. This is an industry that hasn't existed, and the numbers are just life-changing and community-changing, and something we're really excited about offering people an opportunity to get into.